Welcome to another horrid, terrible, despicable episode of the actual bloody apocalypse. And congratulations for choosing the apocalypse. I know you don't know if you've chosen or that you've chosen the apocalypse, but you have. Whether you're aware or not. Irrelevant. You have still chosen the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. You probably don't know that either. But you are. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide. Nicola, so good to see you. A bloody game. Well, it appears the state of your dystopia is exactly what I said it was. They pumped Donnie full of adrenaline or Adderall or what the fuck ever. After 5-6 days of incommunicado. Pretending like it didn't happen. When we all know it was a medical issue. Yes, it appears Donnie is alive and well, as I knew. And all pumped up, and even then he wasn't that energetic. But what I forgot to say is, I am here to proclaim the aspect of your reality that most would dare not. For if they dared, people may turn on them. People may call them crazy. But what I find interesting or most interesting regarding that is they have no problem going to services on Sunday, listening to a pastor, preacher, etc., spokesman for God, allegedly, read from the book, the good book, that contains all these prophecies that I speak of. In fact, they comprise a healthy percentage of the book. Did you know that? Prophecy. Not a story. A reading of the future by God Himself given to you. So you sit there in your Sunday best dress, hat, whatever. You listen to the representative of God deliver his or her sermon from the very book that could possibly be 70% prophecy for all we know. Yet you dare not speak of these or acknowledge what you feel. That is why I am here. For few will do what I do. Take you where you dare not. Take you where they dare not. That is my very purpose in my effort to guide you through it. So they listen to the sermon from the good book full of prophecy they dare not mention or acknowledge as possibly real. for people would call them crazy. But at church on Sunday, they're not crazy. Reading from that book. And for your personal information, have you not read it? One, I suggest you do. Two, both the Old and New Testament contain legions of prophecy. So no scholar or novice or anyone can say, oh, that's only in half the book. The part we don't acknowledge. Oh no. We must acknowledge it. That is why I am here. That is why I am silenced so often. I am the antithesis of all this. I am here to proclaim what most dare not. As your humble guy, I just wanted to share that with you. Now let's begin. Current state of your dystopia. Well, it looks like the opening salvo in an attack against Venezuela took place today. Forgive me for not posting very much. The world tried to make me, go away again, as usual. So I had some things I had to deal with. But back to this. The U.S. military actually struck a vessel in the southern Caribbean, saying it had to do with Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang, killed 11. I heard it was a little, probably, canoe type thing. I don't know. 11 people. They say it had to do with drugs, so okay, right? Just like the worst of the worst are going to camps, right? That covers it. Everyone just goes on about their business as men get locked away forever, and women, and God knows who else. So, yeah, that military movement towards Venezuela, if you thought that was just a flex and nothing was going to come of it, well, you don't understand that you're in the apocalypse and that the Antichrist is in charge. So whenever I see these reports when he disappears for 5 days, 3 days, whatever, for whatever medical illness, because we all know that's what it is, and then they pump him full of shit and he comes back out and still gives a half-assed performance, that doesn't mean these agendas have stopped in any way, shape, or form. That also doesn't mean he isn't still alive and kicking, baby. I told you, the devil gonna keep this thing alive and in power. Unfortunately. Otherwise, he wouldn't be who he is. So, everyone getting their hopes up again at a cheeseburger, old age, all that is going to do the trick. You are going to be very disappointed, just like we were the whole 4 years, hoping they would actually hold the guy accountable who staged a coup against the United States and then stole 3,000 classified documents. That person isn't in a jail cell. Do you hear me, son? In fact, they were given the keys to the vault back. Can you believe it? So I expect, just like I expected before, that, yeah, this military force going towards Venezuela, yeah, it's on. Venezuela's first on the list. Greenland doesn't want to play along. Canada, Mexico says, fuck you. We don't want the military near us. So they figure, all right, let's go for that Venezuelan oil that I wanted back, years ago that I said on camera. So what we have here is the opening salvo. God knows who these people are or what they were doing that the U.S. military blew up. I'm not satisfied with the details. Let's put it that way. It's, again, it's an excuse. It's an opening anti-salvo to, invading, taking over their oil, whatever. Stealing their resources, just like Adolf Hitler. Same thing. So, Mr. Nobel Peace Prize, who's bombed 3-4 countries, turned the military against us, has men en masse kidnapping people, putting them in camps for money. Now has killed some Venezuelans, I guess, that they allege were part of the Tren Aragua gang. Did they tell you that before you blew them out of the water? I doubt it. So, just like I thought, yes, that Venezuela thing's going to happen. That's the opening to all this. All the annexation talk, the Panama Canal, the Suez, Canada, Mexico, Greenland. That's where it all leads. Yes, it's serious. Just like in 1933. Just like when they blitzkrieged out of nowhere across Europe and took it all. Took it all, son, do you hear me? Now we're at the point we have a mobster and sycophants in charge on par with Vlad and the boys over in Russia. That same type of apparatus now, where your military is going to annex territory, steal resources, and it's not even really being hidden from you. That's where we're at now. Mr. Nobel Peace Prize blew up some Tren de Aragua down close to Venezuela today, in the Caribbean. Ready for the invasion of Venezuela or the seizing of their assets, resources, oil? You ready? I wonder if he'll ask for the Nobel Peace Prize tomorrow after blowing up those 11 people. Trump on moving the Space Force base from Colorado. So yeah, after the thing disappears for 5, 6, whatever days since last fucking Wednesday. So obviously it was a medical thing and he didn't want to get in front of the cameras. Obviously people were writing posts for him, etc. It was obvious by the language. His big announcement is Space Force moving from Colorado to a redder area because he doesn't like mail-in voting in Colorado as a punishment. Trump on moving Space Force base from Colorado. That's the big announcement after 6, 5 days, whatever it was, disappearance. The problem I have with Colorado, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in, so they have automatically crooked elections, and we can't have that, according to Donnie, the convicted felon, the adjudicated fraud. The guy who tried to overthrow the government. The guy stole 3,000 classified documents, then stole them back when you gave him the keys back. Did you forget about that? I didn't. Again, so according to Donnie the Antichrist, Colorado uses mail-in voting, so that must be crooked, even though Donnie has mail-in voted many times. When he does it, it's cool. When you do it, if you're voting against him, it's not cool. That's not democracy. That's a criminal fucking enterprise. That's fascism. That means our elections are worthless now. That's where he's going with this. Getting rid of mail-in. And if you don't, there will be repercussions like me moving a base out of your state. I don't know what that costs Colorado. That's people, that's jobs, that's people that spend money in the local community, a whole base. I don't know how many people are on it. Space Force is a fucking joke, but whatever. It's a punishment in Donnie's mind, and I guess it is economically in some ways. Federal dollars for the land, maybe. I don't know. This is where we're at in your state. It's the current state of your dystopia. Donnie punishing states that use mail-in voting. The convicted felon. This is Ducey Jr., I believe, the Nepo hire at Fox. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? Trump kind of hesitated. Ducey, did you see that? Trump, no, I heard that. I get reports. No, look, Trump knew what was going on. That's why the 97 social media posts, most not written by him, if any. He was hiding because he was ill, and it's obvious. I could hear it when he talks. He got over, or he's, getting over some illness. They pumped him up full of shit, and he's at the podium, like I said. This thing ain't going nowhere. This is the devil's messiah right here. He ain't fucking going nowhere. I wish I had good news, son. Believe me. Because I'm way more disgusted than you are. Trust me. Here's Donnie again. I have mostly Donnie posts and J.B. Pritzker for contrast. I want you to see the difference between the two men and what they're saying and doing and spending their time on. I also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend, so they must have asked him, yo, where the fuck were you, man, for like 5 or 6 days? It wasn't over the weekend either. It was from Wednesday till today, which is what, Tuesday, when all this shit happened, I'm telling you. Poignant truths. That's what we got from the president for about 5-6 days when everyone was like, yo, you alive, motherfucker? Again, obviously, Donnie had a medical condition he doesn't want us to know about, and he wasn't even able to get in front of a camera. That's how bad it was. Now he is, and they got a good 8 layers of makeup on him. Because he looked like he had something going on the side of his head, on the side of his forehead or something. On some of the pictures, alleged pictures, over the 5-6 days. But it was obvious to me when he talked. I listened to a few of the clips. I didn't have time to listen to a lot of them. Again, the world tried to remove me again today, and I'm not going to go into it because it'll just happen again tomorrow. What's the fucking point? They must have asked him again, where the fuck were you, man? People were saying you were dead. Oh, well, I truthed a lot. Which everyone across the internet, as I was taking a look at it, it was quite obvious that Donnie didn't write a lot of those things you read. He must have been in some real bad shape. Again, he couldn't even get near a camera. This is a guy who loves the cameras more than anyone. Couldn't even get near one. So he was in bad shape, obviously. They got him back up on his feet, some adrenaline, some Adderall, some Coke, I don't fucking know, something. And that's obvious because this motherfucker disappeared for 5 or 6 days. And truthing doesn't cut it when you're the fucking president. I'm sorry. Again, this is ridiculous that we have to go through this, and I expect this will happen many more times. Trump's a fucking mess, health-wise. He's an old man on top of it. He's abused his body with coke and other things and fast food. At least that's what he promotes. I don't know if he actually eats it. Guy doesn't exercise, that's for fucking sure. So, he's like 80 years old. We should expect off and on. This is how he handles it, obviously. Every time he gets an illness, he'll disappear for a week or whatever and act like nothing happened. And he'll come back and he'll spout a bunch of abominations like he always does. Again, he's right on schedule with that. 1,200 some days of abominations. And my God, coming off his deathbed here, I was amazed. I wasn't even going to do a video because I'm just like that level of disgusted at this point. But I saw how many abominations again, and he's just fresh off his deathbed here. Again, we didn't see him 5-6 days. That means it was serious. So he's fresh out the fucking, critical condition here. And he's talking about, well, I truthed a lot. I know I'm the president, but I truthed a lot. We're fucking doomed. We are fucking doomed. Just can't be honest. Whatever he's got, man. Even had to steal his medical records. It's verified. Trump wants school shootings. This is Trump's big idea. You ready? We have great teachers that love our children. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military and you let them carry, that's something a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. So on a teacher's salary, if you've had military training, you're gonna, take on guys with AR-15s that the police will stand outside and wait till he kills a bunch of people because they don't want to take the gun on. But you as a teacher, on a salary where you can't even get supplies and you're buying your own fucking supplies and shit, you should get involved in the gunplay with the AR-15 wielding maniac, because that's what the Republican culture and party likes, the wild, wild west instead of, a safe community. That's the big idea. That's the big plan. Have teachers take it on. Well, Donnie loves using the military. Why not post a couple military men at every school? As horrible as that is, if it was done under true good intentions to stop mass shooters, I'd probably be okay with it. If that's as far as it went, not troops on our streets. Since we've got assault rifles coming to the schools now, that's the only reason I would even consider that an okay idea. But teachers? What, maybe you do a tour in the military? You go to college while you're doing it. You become a teacher. So you fulfill your military service, whatever it is, 2 years, 5 years, the rest of your life. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to fucking know. You get your teaching certificate while you're doing that on the GI fucking bill or whatever. And then they say, hey, when you get to the school, oh, you've got military experience. How about, you bring a Glock to school. And, when the guy with the AR-15 comes, you can take him on while the cops sit out and wait and eat donuts. I can't believe this type of shit is said out loud rather than just take the guns off the streets. And by the guns, for starters, just the assault rifles, the ARs, all that shit, get them the fuck off the street. I think that's a good opener instead of having our kids die, even though I'm not even a father. I don't even have children. Shame that I care more than you do. Fucking shame. Because you're in that dystopia, that thing you were talking about that you thought the liberals were going to do, and you ain't doing jack shit. So a lot of good the AR does you. That's what happens though when you lead a biased life. You get subjugated under the guise of your bias, under the affirmation of it. Again, I can't believe that. Let me read a piece of this. If you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military and you let them carry, Do you want to take on the guy with the AR-15? Anyone considering teaching. Not that they'll see this, because they only let about 30 people see my videos anymore. I guess I'll just talk to the ether. Donnie at the podium again. This is what it looked like too. They got that makeup cake the fuck on. And he's not very energetic. At times he tried to be, but it was obvious the man was recovering. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole. So talking shit on American cities as the president of the United States because you want to deploy the military so you can steal their budgets and subjugate the people you see as political obstacles. Not even political. Let's drop the facade of that bullshit. As obstacles to the Reich that you want to build. That's why he calls Chicago a hellhole. That's why he calls Baltimore a hellhole. This is a man from New York City most of his life, where he built his empire, or his father did anyway. Big city, crime, you know, goes with the territory. That's where the money is. It's that simple. Crime will go to where the money is. Money's in the cities. The jobs are in the cities. Therefore, the money's in the cities. So, and again, this is a convicted felon, so he's not really interested in stopping crime. Son. We should really drop that facade as well. I know it's a great talking point for the rubes to throw out there as their subjugation gets tighter and tighter around them. But for the rest of us that live in reality, what you're witnessing again is the military takeover of your country. And if you think, just like all the other things with Donnie, it will only affect liberals, you're wrong, son. I'm sorry. Ask all the MAGA folk that just got a promotion in their government job. And that put them back on the probationary list, and therefore the AI chose them to be fired. Ask them how that philosophy of it won't touch me, he's only going after the people we don't like. Ask them where that philosophy got them, son. So openly talking shit on 2 American cities because he wants to deploy the military, because just like in Hitler's day, the liberals are the obstacle to full fascist, full Reich. Same thing, same philosophies, same religion, playing out over again. And no, it ain't Christianity, son. Trump on sending troops to Chicago. We're going in. I didn't say when we're going in. So it doesn't matter what the people want. That facade goes away until, 5 minutes later where he'll say, I really want them to ask me. It would be beautiful. Yeah, we know, Satan. We know it would be beautiful if they asked you. But they're not going to ask you. So Donnie basically admitting straight up, we're going in. I didn't say when we're going in. So again, the facade drops right away. Oh yeah, these cities that say they don't want us there, we're going anyway. Again, remember all the way back in California? And a crazy guy in sunglasses in a car saying to you, you're watching the beginning of the military takeover of your country? Well, then it hopscotched over to D.C. Checkmate. Over. Now it's going to hopscotch to Chicago, New York, other areas. Remember all the way back then? I do. I really wanted to be wrong. But every day I wake up, it's really hard to deny, and I'd love to deny that I'm right. That the story's true, all this. Again, it ain't me. I didn't create any of this. It's just what I know, what I read, what I studied. And I keep, again, hoping to wake up and hoping that it is not the case. We have an American president saying, we know cities don't want troops in there, but we're sending them anyway. I have the right to do it. No, he doesn't. He's using a technicality meant for actual insurgencies. If we got attacked by people, you deploy your local military, your National Guard to people that are close. And you solve it. Or if there are riots, people are burning down stores and blah, blah, and the police can't handle it. You have to send in the Guard. Until the riot's done, then the troops go home. That's how it's supposed to work. And I'm not talking about a protest, I'm talking about a riot, which protests sometimes turn into. There's also things called provocateurs. Always remember that. But when large groups of people get together, there tends to be, things can get out of hand very simply, very quickly. Especially when people are mad. So there are legitimate uses for the military. We all know this is not legitimate use. And in D.C., he had them, laying mulch, weed whacking, mowing lawns. Again, I thought there's a crime invasion. What's this mowing lawn shit? I'll give you more context on some of the things he says about that in some of these later clips. I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem and we'd love you to send in the troops. He's hoping Pritzker says that to him. A minute ago, he's saying, well, we're sending them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Now we're back to, I'd love for him to call me and say, please, Donnie, come send the military to subjugate me and the population. Can you believe this is being said out loud? Again, calling good evil and evil good, that's all you people are. That's your entire movement. Look at this thing. Again, we got a president openly threatening to send troops in any city he doesn't like. That's the state of your dystopia that you're living in right fucking now. And it's normalized. The press doesn't go, this is America. Can you not be a cunt and a dictator and send troops into our cities? What are you doing? Guy should be impeached in 5 seconds. But he's not, which means you out there who has your name on this, and the people in government that are in his party, voting with him, doing this all, you're all responsible. None of you get a pass on this evil ass shit. Any city or governor he doesn't like, I'm going to deploy the military in your city? That's some fucking dictator. That's Adolf Hitler shit, son. Literally. And now it's normal. I didn't see the press attacking him left and right for deploying the military and threatening to, did you? No. It's normal now. Precedent was set in Cali. I told you that. I told you it was a military takeover. How many more states do you believe it, I wonder? Not that this really reaches anyone outside a certain little core people that I've built over a long time that stick with it. Whatever, I can't control that. I've tried as hard as I can to broadcast. Nothing else I can do. So yes, he'd love to have Donnie call him. Again, he expects, and the White House has been putting this theme forward for a while now. You should all be begging us to do it. Calling good evil and evil good. Inversion. We should be begging for men with machine guns and fatigues that were meant for our enemies to be deployed against us. Holy fuck, are we in bizarro reverse world? Only one explanation. The devil. It's supernatural, I guess is a better way to describe it. Holy fuck. And this is normalized. People are standing next to him as he said, yeah. The press is like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's over. Checkmate. He's got DC. He's going to mention it here. He always gives the game away. Donnie doesn't hide anything. He admits what he's going to do, and everyone just stands back and lets him do it. Trump on sending troops to Chicago. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now we're going to do it anyway. We have a right to do it, and that includes Baltimore. So now he has a right to do it before we're going to do it anyway. Then it's, oh, I wish he would ask me. Now it's, we're going to do it anyway. Literally said that. We're going to do it anyway. We have a right to do it. This is a quote. No, you don't. That's not what it was intended for, and we all know it. But since it isn't your team, you're cool. That will cost you. It already has. Oh my God, look where we're at. And again, if you think this ain't coming to your door, man. We have a right to do it, and that includes Baltimore. So Baltimore, another area mentioned to deploy our own military against us. And that's normal now. Here's Donnie admitting the full plan. I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. So Chicago's on the list. That's high on the list because Pritzker talks shit on him. So, deploy U.S. military. And give me the Nobel, too, while we're at it. So Washington's the template. Well, what did he do? He deployed troops everywhere. He's going to mention it again. Give away more of the plan. Give away more of the checkmate against you. It's over, I'm sorry. I really am. And believe me, no one's more disgusted than me, son. So Washington is the template. He's deployed troops everywhere. He's using them as a landscaping crew. He's using them to harass people. He's using them to walk around with machine guns on our streets and military vehicles. And then he says we're going to do it in Chicago. So that's what's coming. He keeps doing what he says he's going to do. He was going to do, right? Trump claims the video showing people throwing bags out of a White House window is probably AI generated. Ducey then plays the clip for him. Trump still insists it's AI. I've seen the clip. I thought it was real. People were presenting it as if it was real. Some credible people. Everyone was wondering what the fuck was being thrown out the White House window. I was wondering too. Allegedly, it was contractors. Now, when Donnie at the podium, fresh off his deathbed, he kept insisting it was AI. He wouldn't let it go, and he wouldn't let any other answer be the answer. Strange. Maybe he thought he was caught doing something. Or maybe he thought he was caught removing some files or something. I don't know. So his brain went to automatic denial and lie about it. I don't know. Or maybe something went out that window, that maybe we should know about. And that's why he's lying about it. All I know, again, is fresh off his deathbed, 5-6 days, we haven't seen the motherfucker. They pump him up full of shit. Now he's saying a clip that everyone watched yesterday of something being thrown out the White House window is fake. I didn't see anyone else saying it was fake. Whatever, I don't know. Donnie, on tariffs, if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. Actually, we were humming along quite well with the highest Dow ever without the tariffs. So again, that Donnie's personal grift that he loves the best. Without it, we'd be a third world country. Amazing the lies being told so one man can grift. It's incredible to me. Do you know the suffering that's being caused by those tariffs? I could do a week's worth of videos just on the suffering of various groups, people, businesses, farms, etc., just from the tariffs. We've taken in, here's Donnie with the fish story again. We've taken in almost 17 trillion of investment. No, we haven't taken in 17 fucking trillion, man. Do you know what an absurd number that is? It's about the 8th time he's told that lie. That should bother you, but now it's too late, so let me just stop. The stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. No, they don't. No, they don't. Did you see what the market has done in the first few months when Donnie was tariff on, tariff off, tariff? It wasn't good. You had Portnoy crying on camera like, yo, I just lost 20 million. The fuck you doing? I'm going to vote Democrat. I'm serious. He was talking, I'm going to vote Democrat. I'm not joking. Somehow Donnie's carved some loopholes here and there to keep the Dow propped up. I don't know how, but he's done it. He's still grifting like a motherfucker. And them tariffs are killing people. Killing people. Probably worse than deploying the military on them, honestly. Jesus. Fucking Antichrist. One breath is threatening to deploy the military against more cities. Your own military that you pay for. Do you hear me, son? For the 4th or 5th time. That's been normalized. And in the next breath, it's the whole world will end without the tariffs. What does that mean again, class? The tariffs are very important to Donnie personally. You know what I mean by important personally, right? He's pocketing the goddamn money. Unbelievable. Because everything's about the tariffs. He said it's his favorite word. Do you hear me? Let me move on. I digress too much. I didn't even mean to be on this long. Trump on Baltimore. They don't need housing. What they need is to get rid of the criminals. They need machine guns and fatigued, wrapped men doing roundups and stuff and stopping crime. They don't need housing. Again, calling good evil and evil good. What would Jesus do in this scenario? Christians? Would he give the people housing? Or would he give them troops with machine guns that are meant for our enemies? I think you know the answer to that question. Not that anyone outside a little group will see this, but whatever. They don't need housing. Well, why would they need housing? I mean, let's just round those homeless people up and throw them in a camp or something. Because the convicted felon equates homelessness with crime. Do you realize the horrid state we are in this country specifically? Don't worry, it's going global, but that don't make it any better for us. I can't believe these things are being said openly. Again, this guy disappeared 5-6 days, by the way. We got no explanation. Oh, whatever. I feel, great. Yeah, we know you're great now that they pumped you with adrenaline and God knows what else. How were you, though, those 5-6 days that you dis-a-fucking-peered? Trump threatens to send troops back to California, so now he wants to send troops back to an area he already sent troops to, and there's still 250 troops, I believe, in California already. So now, realize where you're at. Everyone, I don't care what you believe or don't believe, realize where you are actually at. The Antichrist or the dictator, whatever you see him as, however far you're willing to go, is about to redeploy for the second time in the same area when there's no riots. Just because he feels like it. And he's comfortable enough to say that on camera in front of everybody. It's so over. He's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. Newsom didn't want us there. He's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. What is? What a shame my golden years have to be the age of the Rube. The age of the Antichrist, the orange-faced, diapered, smelly, shitty automaton for everything that is disgusting. For the devil. What a fucking shame. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a great military force. We know, Donnie, we watched the people in mass with machine guns kidnap people at Home Depot and immigration court and anywhere else they feel like it. And then we watch the other guys without masks and machine guns walk around on our streets. So we know there's a great military force. The thing is, that military force was supposed to be used for foreign enemies. You see how that works? We have a great military, because that's the answer to every area's problems, right? Send in the military. My big idea for years was, hey, let's get the military to build some housing. And they don't have to compete with the really good housing market, you high-end contractors that would stab somebody before you would allow this to happen. But maybe the military could just build like low-end housing for homeless and, people that can't, fully make it in society. Real little apartments and stuff. The military could build that. I think that's a noble endeavor. Of course, I wouldn't have guns in their hands, doing that kind of work. like Donnie does, but that's just me. I'm not a dictator who wants to own the world and grift every dollar and do God knows what else. Donnie got you guys, my idea is for you guys to build things. His idea is lay mulch and point your guns at American citizens. I think you guys would have liked my idea better. But here on this plane, nothing good ever happens, and the main priority is making sure the nuisance goes away, and maybe we can just put them in camps, and then maybe something happens to them. Instead of building housing, again, just send in the guys with machine guns. That'll solve it. Right, Roops? Just round them up, get them out of there. Far, far away. Maybe on a train car or something. These are hardcore criminals. We took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good in 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years. Is Donnie talking about himself? Because he's been in and out of court his whole fucking life. And now he's a convicted felon. And he staged a coup. And he stole 3,000 classified documents. And that's the really short list. And listen how he talks about other people. The convicted felon. They're not going to be good in 10, 20 years. I know, Donnie. You're talking about you. I know. They were born to be criminals, frankly. Yes, Donnie. They'll cut your throat and not even think about it the next day. Yes, Donnie. That too. You think I don't know that about you? Class, do you think that he's incapable? Then you don't know Donnie. That sounds like a perfect description of him. And as always with Donnie, every accusation is a confession. We've seen that over and over again. Bear out into reality. Over and over again. They were born to be criminals, the convicted felon says. You can't make that up, man. In the apocalypse as the Antichrist. You can't make that up, man. Like I said, I'm here to proclaim the things others are afraid to. That's astounding. So DC, Donnie thinks it's great what's going on. Again, I have another comment that I really want to get to where he mentions that without the United States, everything in the world would die. I settled 7 wars. All right, now there were words in between there, but still. Again, when you add more context to Donnie's comments, they get worse, so not better. Never do they get better, ever. Everything in the world would die. I settled 7 wars. Again, the fish story about all the wars. Now, give me my Peace Prize. Hey, but didn't you just shoot a Venezuelan vessel with a missile today? As a pretense for your invasion of Venezuela to steal their oil in like a week? Yeah, but, I'm a man of peace and give me the Nobel Peace Prize. That's not drama. That's not a skit I just did. That's the reality we're fucking living in. And again, people, this just ain't about a guy won an election that I don't like. Oh, I so wish it was that. I pray to God it's that, but I know it isn't. 7 wars, son, says the Antichrist, says the convicted felon. And without the U.S., everything would die. Okay, Donnie. All right, we're going to move on to Pritzker. I guess I lost the other damn Donnie comment about the 20 fucking foot radius. Motherfucker. That's the one I wanted to read to you, and I don't have it here. Shit. Anyway, Donnie talked about how well it's going in D.C. And that he said for a 20-mile radius around D.C. is now covered by the military. Damn it, I wanted to read you that one. Of course, I forget to put it in the iPad. All right, anyway. I'll read it to you tomorrow, I guess. So I got to get to the Pritzker quotes here at the end. Donnie talked about how in D.C. how he's going to have a 20-mile radius covered by the military. What did I tell you that deployment in D.C. was? Checkmate. 20-mile radius. Nothing's getting near the White House. Can't remove somebody when they got a 20-mile radius of military protection of American troops, right? That was always the plan, to get troops on your streets so he can stay in power as long as he lives. Do you hear me? I know a lot of you out there that'll never see this don't care. Because it's your team that will be dictator, right? Oh no, it's the Antichrist. I'm sorry. You fucked up. Big fucking time. You fucked up. So just because it's your team, and a lot of you learned that the hard way so far, a lot more of you will, and it'll be too late. It already is. So although you may think it's a good thing, I don't know why I'm wasting my time saying this. It's already too late. That your team gets to be dictator. Your king that you like. It still will not go well for you. Because Donnie is of Satan. This is a fascist thing. This is something you can't imagine, son. Even though you went to church every Sunday, you have no idea. This is that thing. And it's going to be terrible. It already is. My God, listen to the things I just read you that he said today. And that's off his fucking deathbed. Everyday abominations, threats. Machine gun troops were never good on our streets when you thought Obama was going to do it. You fucking abject hypocrites that will never see this. Thanks to the adjudicated criminal Google. This is J.B. Pritzker doing some commentary today at a podium. We've gathered information from unauthorized patriotic officials inside the government and from sourced reporters about Donald Trump's plan, which is to deploy armed military personnel to the streets of Chicago. Yes, again, I wish JB would have got on this faster when they did it to LA. I wish all the Democratic governors would have got together and made a huge stink about it. It's too late now. I applaud the effort. I love what he's saying. He should have been saying this back in November when I was saying it. He should have been saying it back when it happened in California first. The military being deployed. Now it's about to happen in his city. It's too late. So his plan is to deploy in Chicago. Well, Donnie keeps talking about it every 3 seconds. So yeah, we know that. We've seen him do it twice already in 2 areas at least. It's nice of him to finally get up and say this, though. This is Donnie's hand, and then we'll get back to JB. Again, it's with the makeup, with the sunken in part of the hand from Ivy or whatever's going on. I imagine they're giving him some nice cocktails to keep him going, since he was, again, pretty much not around for 5 or 6 days. There's another view. JB again. When do we become a country where it's okay for the U.S. president to insist on national television that a state should call him to beg for anything, especially something we don't want? Have we truly lost all sense of sanity in this nation that we treat this as normal? Again, this has been going on for 10 years. It's long been normalized. Way too late now. I applaud the effort, though. Again, yeah, he's got a good point there. No president should be saying, the state should be calling me begging. Even that's just fucking ridiculous. And then, again, to be begging for military intervention in a state's business. What happened to all you states' right people that voted R? You don't really believe in that, I guess. Only if it applies to your state, right? Only if, like, Obama or Hillary or somebody deployed the military in your state, right? Then you'd have a problem. Don't worry, Donnie will deploy them. You don't have to wait for a liberal. It was never the liberals, son. It was you. Again, Pritzker. Unidentifiable agents in unmarked vehicles en masse are planning to raid Latino communities and say they're targeting violent criminals. Right, it's just to terrorize the Latin community. It's just to round up an ethnic minority. That's the opening salvo of full Reich. Just like the liberals got arrested, trade unionists, stuff like that were the opening salvo, the opening sacrifice. And there was all kind of talk of foreigners, Jewish foreigners that they didn't like, that were in their country. Which led to you know where. Same here. It's a Reich and it's going to go all those places. Do you hear me? I've been saying this for a while, months and months. And in many ways for 10 years. But the full plan, the real plan, wasn't revealed until like right before this election. About the 2 years leading up to this election. A lot of the detail and the players came out. They saw it as their moment. They still do. All of them. So again, I've been saying this for 10 years. I said, how do you start it all off? Well, you pick a community to demonize that no one cares about. Illegal immigrants, bam. Homeless, bam. New group added. Criminals, homeless. Criminals. We'll only put the worst of the worst in camps. We all know that's not true. But they're people you don't like, right? So it's okay. I hope not for your sake. Demonize a group and you expand outward from that original group and it gets more and more normalized. That masked men with machine guns grab people off the street, throw them in a van, and you don't see them ever again. And you get to play find the person you give a fuck about for weeks and weeks until you track down, the 8th, 9th detention center, which is really, a private business that charges the government for a stay. My God, what this country has become and how fast it has happened. And again, this ain't like all the other times and all the other years and all the other broadcasts you've heard somebody say that. It's so much worse. Pritzker again, it breaks my heart to report that we have been told ICE will try to disrupt community picnics and peaceful parades. Let's be clear. The terror and cruelty is the point, not the safety of anybody living here. What would we expect from Satan's anointed but cruelty abominations? Every day, all day. I've been seeing this quote for the past 10 years. The cruelty is the point. And every day, during this 10 years, it's become more and more true and real and the point. For one side of things, I won't even call it politics. It's not politics, son. Oh, it's much more evil and dangerous than that. Again, the cruelty, the terrorization, it's a Reich. They're Nazis. Again, and this isn't drama, not like the times you've heard it before. They want ethnic minorities gone. This is their opening salvo. And again, they've already expanded outward to the homeless and a few other groups that Donnie was complaining about. And now Donnie's got a 20-mile radius around the White House with troops. America's over, I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't. Checkmate. We have reason to believe that the Trump administration has already begun staging the Texas National Guard for deployment in Illinois. So again, what we have is more loyal type troops from redder states that are willing to subvert the Constitution, have no problem to build this white nationalist dictatorship that certain groups want against. You got Southern troops against Northern troops is what you got. What's that called? Can you fucking believe it? Several states, red states, have volunteered to send troops to D.C. I just saw an article about one state just sending 12. I think it's South Dakota, something like that. What's that called? When you have two regions of the same country deploying troops against each other. That's called civil war. That's where Donnie's brought us. Literally. Texas National Guard deployed in Illinois. Do you understand the gravity of that? Do you understand the state of the dystopia you're in? Let your guide explain it to you. JB, again, I refuse to pretend that any of this is normal. I refuse to fall into the pundit trap that demands we sacrifice vital constitutional rights if it's being done in the fake guise of fighting crime. Too late. Precedent set. And people didn't get out on the streets. They didn't let the Reich know that, yeah, we ain't having this. That didn't happen. Precedent set. 2 regions, 20-mile radius around the throne. Over, checkmate. He can send troops wherever he wants. Who's going to stop him? Nobody. I applaud the effort. I wish JB had been saying some of this stuff earlier. Now it's too late. A week before he sends the troops in. Precedent's already set. The time for him to say that, I refuse to let this be normalized, well, again, too late. It's already been normalized. Way too late to be saying that. As if you can still do something about it. Even though I say it sometimes, none of this is normal. That's just to remind the rubes. But for us as a society, yes, this has all been normalized. It's too late. That's what I mean. That's why I keep saying it. Once the precedent is set, again, I told you you're watching the military takeover of your country. I also told you I'm not like all these other people you watched over the years that said things like this when some guy won they didn't like. This time, it's fucking real. I take not one atom of pleasure in saying that. Doesn't make me feel good. Looking at this camera doesn't make me feel good. The 30 views I get doesn't make me feel good. I'm here when I shouldn't be wasting my fucking time. 'Cause it's already over, man. Talking about this because it's that fucking dire. It's that simple. Being done in the fake guise of fighting crime. Yes, a loophole where the president can temporarily take command of the military and do certain things in certain states and blah, 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 blah. That an honorable man would only use if necessary. For Donnie, that's a scam I can use to take over the United States and do whatever I want. And stay dictator forever. I also saw a quote many times, our founding fathers foresaw a guy like Donnie. That's why there's so many things written into the Constitution to try and stop that. What they didn't foresee is one entire side of politics going along. That's unstoppable. And judges going along, unstoppable. Now we're at civil war. Texas guard against Illinois, I guess. Thanks, Roops. Yes, an honorable man would only use the military when necessary, and we know which ones were honorable and which ones were not, and we are in the age of rubery and men that are not. That's why I'm here again, otherwise my ass be sleeping. JB again, any rational person who has spent even the most minimal amount of time studying human history has to ask themselves one important question. Once they get citizens of this nation comfortable with the current atrocities committed under the color of law, what comes next? Too late. Precedent's already set. Military already been out on the streets, son. We about to go for deployment number 2 in Cali. So again, to say this, once they get comfortable, well, we already are. I can tell by the fact there's not mass protests going on right now. We're talking about the 3rd deployment here, not the 1st. Seems like everybody just fine. In other words, no pushback. Nothing significant anyway. Checkmate. Over, precedent set. Everyone's already comfortable. Too late, JP. JB, excuse me. And I respect you. He has no idea what he's talking about. There is no emergency that warrants deployment of troops. Indeed. We all know what deployment of troops, what situations merit that. This isn't one of them, and you know it. He is insulting the people of Chicago by calling our home a hellhole, and anyone that takes his word at face value is insulting Chicagoans too. Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's our own president doing that. The guy that's supposed to be all patriotic and, you know, America's great. Just not the liberal areas where all the money comes from. Because that's where the businesses are. It's not because they're special. It's a concentration of wealth and businesses and income, that's all. And population density. But that's the reality of this country. It's where the money is generated for the most part. In them big cities. With all them evil liberals. So yes, the president is a guy that's not supposed to be talking abject shit on areas of the country he doesn't like, and we know why he doesn't like those areas. It's not a secret. And we're at the end. And Donnie, the leader of India, the leader of China, and Vlad Putin, and the Vlad that has some less cheeky, the surgery wasn't as obvious on this Vlad that I saw at this meeting as the one we saw in Alaska. So the less surgeried Vlad had a meeting with Xi and the leader of India, I forget his name, forgive me, and Donnie got jealous, and he wrote this long-ass thesis. I'm not going to read all of it. The big question to be answered is whether or not Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood the U.S. of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. What the fuck? I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vlad Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump. So Donnie was jealous. The leader of India, I believe, was there in a meeting with these people recently, like yesterday or the day before, as well. So it appears what you have is a trade partnership between China, Russia, North Korea, and India. It's a big deal. Donnie acts like India is no big deal. We don't get a lot from them, blah, blah. Oh, you kidding me? That's not even remotely true. So Donnie was jealous that they all had the meeting without him and kind of left him out. He's a laughingstock. You know, it's fucking embarrassing. But enough about this. Let me end with this. I didn't even want to talk this long. Because honestly, I need to focus on whatever craziness is about to happen every day that I can't foresee coming. Because it's magically designed for me or something. But here I am. Nonetheless. Look. It has been normalized. And that's horrifying. I mean, do you realize what a different place this is right now? In prior eras, had the president deployed the military without a real purpose, he'd probably get impeached for it. In this era, it's an everyday threat to whoever is, disliked at the moment, or whatever area is disliked at the moment. In fact, it's more than that. It was an agenda planned before he even took his first day back in office. Build a Reich. Why do you think Leon jumped on board and Thale jumped on board so enthusiastically? Because they're Nazis and they want to build a Reich, and so does Donnie. But in essence, what does Donnie really want? To grift. But he still loves Satan. He still has a mission. I don't know if he knows or not, but he sure as fuck has a plan. And so do Leon and Greasy Pete and JD and all the rest of the sycophants. To build a Reich. With phases of annexation and stealing of resources from foreign areas and our own countries being liquidated. The parks, everything. You've already seen that. The troops on our streets have been normalized. We're here talking about, or I am, the third major city or region of the U.S. where United States troops are about to be deployed. Again, I didn't know there was a civil war, but Donnie's sure trying to make one. So, again, knowing human behavior, once you set the precedent, and the Reich sits back and says, are they going to let us get away with this? And then they see they get away with it. That only leads to deployment of more of your own troops against you. And Donnie being a dictator. Not holding Donnie accountable for stealing 3,000 classified documents being one of the most obvious and transparent traitors this nation has ever seen. Probably the worst and greatest traitor that's done the most betraying. Not holding him accountable for that, then he just does it again. That's what you're witnessing right now. Again, in phases. Annexation, we're starting with Venezuela. We're going to steal those resources first, I guess. Not we, the Reich. I have no part in any of this. I'm just the god. The phase in this country, liquidate everything. Any resource, liquidate. Grift that money. Get the military to take over the major budget areas. New York City, California, Chicago. You know, just like the mob would. Persecute and lock up liberals because they're your enemy they're your obstacle to full Reich. The demonization of press, science, all of that. That's been going on for 10 years. Just with this movement, Russian-driven, Donnie-driven. That the Rubes just went right along with. Like the Rubes they are. That's why they're Rubes. They're still going along, son. So all the precedents have been set. All of the ingredients are there. At this point, I mean, again, he just came off his deathbed. He threatened 3-4 times to deploy the military into 3-4 areas. Chicago, Baltimore, California, again, for the second time. Again, we're on round 2. And again, remember I said when it happened back in Cali, you're witnessing the actual military takeover of your country. I said that. What are you seeing now? That should tell you just that one thing. that what you're watching now, me, it's really happening this time. I'm sorry I didn't want it to. I tried to, distract myself with other things in the Biden years, hoping it would all go away, and Donnie wasn't a thing, and I was wrong. Turned out that distraction wasn't worth it. And we ended up right in the apocalypse anyway. That's ugly, man. And it's going to get way uglier. Again, we've all been wondering if he was alive or dead for the past 5-6 days. And he comes out swinging with, I'm going to deploy the military in 3 different areas. And again, it's too late. The precedents have all been set. The population is comfortable. This experiment has been going on intensely, strongly for 10 years, but it's been a much longer effort by the right-wing machine financed by Russia. The politicians, the social media machine, adjudicated criminals that run social media companies, they all took the money. The creators, they all took the money. Now's the payoff. The American empire goes down, becomes a Reich. A lot of people die. I'm sorry it was chosen and it wasn't chosen by me. But we're here, and we don't get to choose what times we are born in. So I'll do my best when I can to guide you through it. Until, they come grab me or whatever, which will probably happen eventually. It's another great thing I have to look forward to. Anyway, have a wonderful evening until the next episode, if there ever is one. Peace.